teaching, okay? I haven't missed a day yet, so you should have a video for every single lesson. And then, of course, the notes after I fill them in and the key to the homework. I always upload all of those things during lunch. So if you're absent, you could even see it same day, okay? Please get Albert.io taken care of. All right. So we're moving into something that's going to be a little bit of a review for some of you. It's kind of weird because you take geometry before you take Algebra 2. So you do Algebra 1, then you do geometry, then you do Algebra 2. And so a lot of the things we cover, you learned or were exposed to in Algebra 1. So it's been a while, okay? So there's some linear functions means if you graph them, they make a line, okay? And the exponent on the x is 1. So linear just means line. And there's really three forms of linear functions. Today we're going to just talk about one of them, which is standard form. And then tomorrow we'll talk again about slope-intercept form, which we've already touched on, and something called point-slope form. So there's a bunch of forms. Okay, standard form looks like this. Notice there's an x and a y on the left-hand side, and then just c over there. The a, the b, and the c are all numbers. Those are numbers. Okay? We can have no fractions, no decimals. Okay, so if there's fractions or decimals, we're going to have to get rid of them, and I'm showing you how to do that. And A must be positive. So there's rules about standard form. And really, it's what we're doing today is really you're given an equation in a different form, and you just have to rearrange it and make it look like that. Okay? So that's really all you're doing. You're moving things across the equal sign, sometimes getting rid of fractions, sometimes getting rid of decimals. Easy, though. And then making sure the first term is positive. So all of the homework directions are going to be exactly the same as what we're going to do with these three examples. Okay? So if you don't want to write out the directions, I don't care about that. Okay? You can probably always look back at your notes and see what you did in the problem and know what the directions were, but in case you want to write it, I'll give you a chance. Thank you. Okay, sure. So, don't worry about what form it's given to you in. Just know it's not in the right order, okay? So think of the equal sign as breaking up the left and the right, okay? So the equal sign breaks up left side, right side of the equation, okay? So here's my equal sign that breaks up the left hand and the right side, the left side and the right side. So what you want to look at is who has to move, because not everybody always has to move. Some of the terms, so three of them, there's three terms, 2y, 10x, and negative 11, some of them are in the right place, so they get to stay where they are. And there's actually only one of them who's in the wrong place. Who? Which one's in the wrong place? The 10x. Do you guys see that? He's supposed to be the line leader. He's supposed to be in the front. He's on the right side. He should be on the left side. So use your rules for solving equations to move across the equal sign. So you're just subtracting 10x from both sides. So what you have is negative 10x plus 2y equals, don't lose the negative, right? That negative in front of the 11 is still in front of the 11. And so double check, I have A and B, AX and BY on the left-hand side, and I have C. C is a constant, a number that doesn't have a letter, is on the right side. We don't have any fractions, we don't have any decimals, but we do have to take care of this part of it. A, which is the number that's hanging out with X, is negative, and it's supposed to be positive. I want to change it. How do I change it? Somebody. What did you say? Times by negative 1. Just that one? Everybody. So the rule for equations is the same as for fractions. You can do anything you want. I want him to be positive, so I'm going to multiply him by negative 1. I'm allowed to do that as long as I'm fair and give everybody a negative 1. Okay? So you're just multiplying the whole equation by negative 1. If you change this guy's sign, you have to change all of his friends' signs. So that's standard form. That's it. Okay? And let's identify A, B, and C just to make sure we know. So A is the number in front of X, b is the number in front of y, and c is the constant by himself on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, so that's one that didn't have a fraction or a decimal. We had it in the wrong order. We put it in the right order and then fixed the signs. Sometimes when you bring the x over, it's already positive. You don't have to do that multiplying step, okay? So are we okay with that first type? Anybody? Okay, fractions. Let's freak out because we all hate fractions. You have a choice. You can rearrange the equation first, or you can get rid of the fractions first. I say let's get rid of the fraction first. And it's really, really easy when the denominators are the same. Like, think about this. If I'm just talking about 1/3, what could I multiply 1/3 by to get rid of the denominator of 3? 1/3 times what? Yep. So here's 1/3. If I want to get rid of that denominator of 3, all I have to do is multiply that fraction by its denominator, and I get 1. It's magic. So I'm allowed to multiply that guy by 3 as long as I multiply this guy by 3 and I multiply this guy by 3. Same idea as if you want to change one of them, you have to change all of them. So I'm going to multiply the whole equation by 3. Why 3? Because that's the denominator. You'll know if you did it right or wrong because you'll see that you have no fractions if you did it right. So if you type in 3 times 2/3, how do we do fractions again? Use your division symbol. 3 times 2/3. Oops, sorry. 3 times, let me type it again. 3 times 2 divided by 3. That's how you write it. That's how you type it. See how I got 2? So 3's cancel. And then 1/3 times 3 is 1. Y times 3 is 3y. So we got rid of the fraction. Great. Now we have to put it in the right order. Again, who's out of line? Who's our troublemaker? X. Yeah, got to move them over. You're just putting him in the right order. What? Because it was positive. I had to subtract it to move it. The y didn't go anywhere. The y is still on the left-hand side. I just brought the negative 2x over, and I can't combine them, Dylan, because they're different variables. So they're just hanging out. It's negative 2x plus, since it's positive 3y. Do you see it? Yeah. So the only one that moved was the 2x. Everybody else is staying exactly where they were. Yep. 2x is our troublemaker. Would I move everybody's seats because one person is a troublemaker? Probably not. I would move that person, right? So the 3y and the 1 were innocent. Leave them alone. Just the 2x that had to move. But one thing we have to fix, what is it? A can't be negative. So easy fix. Easy, easy fix. We multiply the whole thing by negative. And it just, remember, multiplying somebody by negative just changes all the signs. We are now in standard form. No fractions, no decimals. A is first. Okay. A is 2. B is, don't lose the negative, negative 3. And C is negative 1. Okay. Last one. Okay, we'll have to talk about it tomorrow. Okay, sorry, I can't do it right now. Okay, so what do we do to get rid of does anybody have an idea? Yeah, so good question. Listen. The question was, so it's only the AX that can't be negative? That's right. The other ones can be negative. Otherwise, you'd spend your whole life sitting here multiplying everything by different signs and changing the signs constantly. No, the other ones can be negative or positive. No rule about that, okay? It's just A that we're strict about, okay? Our line leader has to be positive. Line leader, remember that? Did you guys used to want? Okay. Anyway, any ideas of how to get rid of a decimal in here? And don't say change it to a fraction because that doesn't help us. We don't want a fraction. We're not allowed to have those either. Maybe try it. What could I multiply? Pick any of them. What could I multiply negative 0.4 by to make it not be a decimal? Because I can do anything I want as long as I do it to everybody. Think about what decimal place it's in. Yes. Look, when I multiply it by 10, the decimal goes away. Magic. So I'm allowed to do that, right? As long as I multiply everybody by 10. It really just moves your decimal point in one place, but you can put it in your calculator and see that. So this would become negative 4y plus 8x equals negative 3. As long as you do it to everybody, you can do anything you want. Okay? Now carefully look at it. Left side, right side. We're really close, aren't we? X and Y are on the left side right now, and the constant's on the right side. But there's one little thing we can fix. Flip-flop. The X and the Y should change places, right? X, then Y. When they switch places, do they change their signs? No. Why not? They're on the same side. We're not crossing the equal sign. That's it. Okay? So this is actually just 8x minus 4y equals negative 3. Right? 8 is still positive. 4 is still negative. Okay? Because they just switch places. So if you don't cross the equal sign, you don't change the signs. Okay? So that's now standard form. A is 8. B is negative 4, and C is negative 3. Okay, I'm going to tell you in your homework, you're going to have a fraction one that has two different denominators. Let me just talk about that real quick. If you had 2/3 and a 1/6, for example, two different denominators, we need to find a number that will get rid of both of them. Here's the trick. Pick the bigger number, okay? So if you multiply 2/3 by 6 in your calculator and you multiply 1/6 by 6 in your calculator, both fractions will go away. Okay? So pick the bigger number. It's common. It's the greatest common factor, or least common multiple is what it is, but we don't have to get into that. Pick bigger number if there's two different denominators. Okay? So we're on page 89. It's the same page we were on yesterday, so you might have put it in your binder. It's just no, it's not the same page. It's a different one. Excuse me? Shane. Shane. What were you saying, Mandy? Somebody asked me, are we on? Sorry, sir. No, it's 2.2. Sorry. Okay, so go to page 89, and we're doing 1 through 6. Same exact directions that I just did with you guys. Same exact stuff. All right. Okay, so let me get you started. I mean, can you get much easier than this one? There's only one thing wrong with this one, right? AX and BY are on the left side, and they're in the right order. There's no fractions. There's no decimals, but we have to multiply by negative 1. A common mistake, guys, is people forgetting to multiply the constant by the negative as well. All three terms get that negative, okay? And then state what A, B, and C are. There you go. My trick is not going to work for 4 and 5. let me tell you, look at number 4 and look at number 5 real quick. We don't have, my trick I just gave you isn't going to work. So you have to find a number for 3, 4, and 6 that they all go into evenly. So for number 4, I'm going to help you with this one now, and then I'll have you guys learn it later. But number 4, you're going to multiply by 12 to get rid of your denominator. That's the smallest number that 3, 4, and 6 all go into. So for number 4, you'll multiply by 12. What do you think you guys will do for 5? Anybody? Look at the denominators. 5 and 8. What's a number that, 40. Yeah, that's the smallest number. Good job. 5 and 8. So number 5, you'll multiply by 40. On number 4, because 4 won't go into 6. So, was it you, Matthew? Who asked me? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so if you do 3/4 times 6, you're still going to have a fraction. So you almost can't get those wrong. If you multiply all your fractions by something and you still have a fraction, you picked a bad number. Okay, but 4 is 12, 5 is 40. I'm sorry, not 12. Yep, 12 and 40. This should not take you the whole class period. So ask for help if you need it. If you didn't finish yesterday's assignment or Monday's, go back and finish it. If you haven't signed up for Albert.io, do that. There's lots that you can do.